The small Bronx apartment was hot, crowded, and quiet. Elena Rivera sat on a low wooden stool near the kitchen table, holding a formal letter with both hands. The words, "We have decided to move forward with another applicant," blurred before her eyes. This was the fourth rejection she had received in 6 weeks. Every interview had ended the same way. The managers praised her finance degree, told her she had a promising future, and hired someone else. A hard cough came from the other side of the room. Elena's father leaned forward on the worn sofa, one hand pressed against his chest while he struggled to breathe. Her mother hurried to him and rubbed his back. She looked tired in a way that sleep could not fix. "The inhaler," her father whispered. Elena's mother picked it up from the table and pressed it into his hand. He tried to use it. Nothing came out. She shook it and tried again. It was empty. Elena lowered the letter. "I thought Daniel was bringing the new one." "The pharmacy wanted the full payment," her mother said. "He will bring it when he gets paid. He gets paid next Friday." Her mother looked away. "Your father can use the other medicine until then. It does not work the same way." "I know that, Elena." Her mother's voice became sharp for 1 second. Then she looked ashamed. "I know." Elena's college degree hung in a wooden frame above the sofa. Her father had bought the frame the week she graduated, even though the family was already behind on rent. He had hung it where every visitor could see it. On graduation day, he told everyone that his daughter would soon work in an office and rescue the family from years of struggle. 6 months later, Elena was still unemployed, her father had no inhaler, and the rent was late again. The front door opened, and Elena's older brother Daniel stepped inside. He wore a dark warehouse uniform. Sweat had dried around his collar, and his work boots were covered with dust from the loading floor. He carried a small pharmacy bag. Their mother took it quickly. There was 1 bottle inside. No inhaler. "They would not give it to me," Daniel said. "I asked them to wait until payday." Their father turned his face toward the wall. Daniel saw the rejection letter in Elena's hand. He did not need to ask what it was. "Nothing again?" Elena folded the letter carefully. "They chose someone with more experience." Daniel removed his work gloves and placed them on the counter. "You reached the final interview." "I know. They told you the job was almost yours." "I know." He gave a short, tired laugh. Elena looked at him. "What?" "Mr. Santos stopped me downstairs today." Their mother sighed. "What did he want?" "He asked when our college graduate was finally going to pay the rent." Elena's face became warm. "He had no right to say that. He said the whole building was proud when you graduated. He wanted to know why Papa still cannot afford medicine if we have a finance expert in the family. He was trying to embarrass you," their mother said. "He succeeded." Elena looked down at the letter. "I am applying everywhere." "I know. I go to every interview they offer." "I know. I cannot make people hire me." Daniel's voice rose. "And I cannot make an empty inhaler work." Their father looked at him. "Daniel." Daniel turned away and pressed both hands against the counter. No one spoke for several seconds. When he faced Elena again, the anger in his eyes had become exhaustion. "I left my electrician program when Papa got sick," he said. Elena lowered her gaze. Daniel had said he would work for 1 semester and return to school when the hospital bills were under control. 7 years had passed. "I did not ask you to leave," Elena said. "No, you did not." "Then do not blame me for it. We had enough money for 1 person to finish. That was not my decision. It was our decision." He pointed toward her degree. "We chose you." Elena's throat tightened. Daniel continued before she could answer. "Mama cleaned offices at night. Papa kept driving his cab when he could hardly breathe. I loaded trucks while you studied. We kept saying it was worth it because you were close to graduating. I did graduate. Yes. And I am trying to use my degree. Yes. Then what do you want me to say?" Daniel stared at her. Shame crossed his face. He did not want to hurt her, but he could no longer hide what he felt. "I want to know how much longer we keep sacrificing for a future that never helps us." Their mother stood. "That is enough. No, Mama. Papa is skipping medicine. You are hiding bills in the kitchen drawer. I work every day and still borrow money before payday." His voice cracked. "We gave Elena the only chance this family had." Elena's eyes burned. "Do you think I wanted this?" "No." "Do you think I enjoy coming home with rejection letters?" "No." "Then why are you talking to me as if I failed on purpose?" Daniel looked at their father, then at the empty inhaler. His anger disappeared. "Because I am scared," he said quietly. "We are running out of things to lose." Their mother placed a hand on his shoulder. Daniel covered his face. "I am sorry, Elena." His apology hurt more than his anger. Elena looked at her father, her mother, the small pharmacy bag, and Daniel's tired shoulders. Then she looked at the degree on the wall. Her family had paid for it in different ways. So far, it had given them nothing. She placed the rejection letter on the table and picked up her handbag. "Where are you going?" her mother asked. "To find work. It is almost evening. I still have time." "Do you have another interview?" "No." Daniel lifted his head. "Then where will you go?" Elena looked at the empty inhaler. "Anywhere that will pay me." She walked out before they could stop her. The city was busy, but Elena barely noticed it. She entered 2 offices that had advertised receptionist positions. One had already hired someone. The other refused to accept her resume without an appointment. She tried a medical clinic, a small insurance company, and a tax office. No one was hiring. By late afternoon, her feet hurt, and the folder in her hands had become soft from the rain. She reached a private employment agency 20 minutes before it closed. The woman behind the desk read Elena's resume and asked several questions about her education. For a few minutes, Elena felt hopeful. Then the woman closed the folder. The junior accounting position was filled this morning. Elena nodded. "Thank you for your time." She stood. "There is another opening," the woman said. Elena stopped. "What kind of opening?" "Live-in domestic work." Elena looked back at her. "Housekeeping?" "Yes. I applied for office work. The office job is gone." The recruiter pulled another folder from a drawer. "This position pays weekly. Your meals and room are included. The employer can advance part of your first month's salary tomorrow." Elena did not sit down. "Who is the employer?" The woman hesitated before turning the folder toward her. At the top of the first page was the name Luca Moretti. Elena knew the name. Everyone in New York knew it. Newspapers called him a businessman. People in her neighborhood called him a mafia boss and lowered their voices after saying it. "Why does Luca Moretti need a maid through an outside agency?" Elena asked. "His fiancée manages the household staff." "What happened to the last maid?" Miss Romano dismissed her. "Why?" She did not say. Elena looked at the salary. It was more than twice what she expected. The advance would pay for her father's inhaler, the rent, and several overdue bills. "Is the house safe?" she asked. The recruiter gave a careful answer. "The Moretti residence has more security than most government buildings." That was not what Elena had asked, but she understood. She thought of Daniel's words. She thought of her mother counting pills, and her father trying to breathe through an empty inhaler. "When do they need someone?" "Tomorrow morning." The recruiter pushed a pen toward her. "You do not have to accept." Elena sat down. "Where do I sign?" The gates of the Moretti mansion opened before the car stopped. Elena held a small suitcase against her knees and looked through the window. The house was larger than any place she had entered before. It stood behind high walls, old trees, and men in dark suits who watched every vehicle. A housekeeper named Mrs. Bell met Elena at the front door. She was a serious woman in her 60s who spoke quietly and missed nothing. She showed Elena the kitchen, laundry room, staff entrance, service stairs, and the small bedroom where she would sleep. The room had 1 bed, 1 dresser, and a narrow window facing the back garden. Elena placed her suitcase on the floor. It was smaller than the bedroom she shared with her mother when she was a child, but it was clean and private. "Miss Romano expects the staff in the main dining room in 10 minutes, Mrs. Bell said. "Do not be late." Elena changed into the gray uniform placed on the bed. The dress fit properly, but she could not look at herself for long. Her mother had spent years cleaning offices, so Elena would never have to wear a uniform like it. Elena tied the apron around her waist and followed Mrs. Bell downstairs. Alessia Romano stood in the dining room wearing a cream dress and a diamond engagement ring. She was beautiful, perfectly dressed, and younger than Elena expected. She looked at the new maid from her shoes to her face. "Elena Rivera," she said. "Yes, ma'am." "You have a finance degree?" "Yes," Alessia smiled. "Then you should be intelligent enough to understand simple instructions." She pointed toward a coffee stain on the pale carpet. "Clean that." Elena looked at the stain. "Now?" "Did your degree make the sentence difficult?" Several staff members lowered their eyes. Elena knelt and began cleaning. She could feel Alessia watching her. "The last maid forgot her position," Alessia continued. She started acting as though being trusted inside this house made her important. Elena kept working. "That will not be a problem." "Good." A man entered the room. Elena knew who he was before anyone spoke. Luca Moretti was tall, broad-shouldered, and dressed in a dark suit. He did not need to raise his voice to make the room change. The staff stood straighter. Alessia turned toward him, with a warm smile that had not been there a second earlier. "Luca, you are home early." His eyes moved to Elena kneeling beside the carpet. "Who is she?" "The new maid." Luca looked at Elena. "What is your name?" "Elena Rivera, sir." Alessia gave a small laugh. "Her name is not important." Luca's eyes remained on Elena. "She has one." Alessia's smile weakened. Luca looked toward the wet carpet. "What happened?" "She spilled coffee," Alessia said. Elena looked up. "The stain was here when I arrived." Alessia's face became cold. Luca looked at both women. He did not accuse either one. "Mrs. Bell can handle it." "Elena, stand up." Elena rose slowly. Luca nodded once. "Welcome to the house, Miss Rivera." "Thank you, sir." "Luca," Alessia said, "she is staff." "I know." "Then why are you speaking to her like a guest?" "Because she is standing in front of me." He left the room. Alessia waited until his footsteps disappeared. Then she looked at Elena. "Do not misunderstand basic manners." "I do not." Men like Luca are polite to staff because it costs them nothing. Elena lowered her eyes. "Yes, ma'am. Finish the carpet." The first week was difficult. Alessia found something wrong with everything Elena did. The coffee was too hot. The towels were folded incorrectly. The flowers were too close to the window. The silver was not bright enough. One morning, Alessia ordered Elena to remake the bed 3 times because one corner of the sheet was not smooth. Another afternoon, she poured tea into a clean saucer and asked Elena why she had brought a dirty cup. Elena knew the saucer had been clean when she placed it down, but she said nothing. She needed the job. She sent most of her first week's pay home. Daniel bought the inhaler and paid part of the rent. Her mother called that night. "Your father is breathing better," she said. Elena sat on the edge of her small bed and closed her eyes. "Good. Are they treating you well?" Elena looked at the red mark on her wrist where Alessia had grabbed her earlier. "The work is tiring." "That was not my question." "I am fine, Mama." "You always say that when you are not." Elena changed the subject. Luca was rarely home during the day, but when he was, he noticed things other people ignored. He thanked Elena when she brought coffee. He moved his chair so she could clear the table without reaching around him. He remembered her name. These were small things, but inside a house where Alessia treated staff like furniture, they mattered. One evening, Elena was organizing books in Luca's library when he entered. She stepped away from the shelves. "I can leave, sir. You are working. I can return later." He looked at the books. "You changed the order." Elena expected anger. They were arranged by color. "I placed them by subject and author." "Why?" "Because books are easier to find that way." Luca took one from the shelf. The last decorator said color looked more elegant. The last decorator probably did not read them. Luca looked at her. Elena immediately regretted the comment. "I am sorry. Do not be." He placed the book back. "I have been looking for this for 2 months. A weak smile crossed his face. "Keep going." That was the first time Elena saw him as more than a feared name. He looked tired. Not physically tired, lonely. He spent most dinners in his office. Alessia often left for parties without him. When they were together, she spoke about the wedding, family alliances, and the people who would attend. Luca listened but rarely looked happy. His mother, Teresa Moretti, lived in the east wing of the mansion. She was a warm woman with painful joints and a sharp sense of humor. Elena first met her when she found Teresa trying to button a blouse with shaking fingers. Elena stepped forward automatically. "Let me help." Teresa pulled the blouse away. "Ask first." Elena stopped. "I am sorry. Old women lose enough without young people taking away the right to struggle." Elena nodded. "Would you like help?" Teresa waited, then held out her hand. "Yes, now it feels like help." Elena buttoned the blouse. Teresa studied her face. "You are the new maid Alessia complains about." Elena froze. Teresa smiled. "Do not worry. Alessia complains about sunlight when it enters from the wrong window." Over the next 2 weeks, Elena spent more time with Teresa. They drank tea in the kitchen when Teresa could not sleep. Elena helped organize her letters and bills. Teresa asked about Elena's family and remembered every name. One night, she found Elena eating dry bread after sending most of her wages home. Teresa placed a bowl of soup in front of her. "I am not hungry," Elena said. "Neither am I." "Then why did you bring 2 bowls?" "Because I dislike eating alone." Elena understood the kindness and accepted it. Alessia noticed Teresa's affection. She also noticed Luca speaking to Elena with respect. Her dislike became worse. One afternoon, Alessia prepared for a lunch with several women from her family. She asked Elena to bring a diamond necklace from the dressing room. Elena opened the jewelry box, found the necklace, and carried it downstairs. Alessia looked inside the box and frowned. "This is not the one I asked for." It was the only diamond necklace in the top drawer. There were 2. I only saw one. Alessia opened the box again. "My grandmother's necklace is missing." The women at the table became quiet. Elena's stomach tightened. "I did not take it. I did not accuse you." Alessia's voice was calm. "You are acting accused," she called security. 2 men entered. Luca was not home. Alessia ordered them to search Elena's room and belongings. Mrs. Bell tried to speak. "Miss Romano, Elena has never given us a reason to suspect her." "Then she has nothing to fear." Elena stood in the center of the room while security searched her apron, pockets, suitcase, and small room. The guests watched from the dining table. One woman whispered that poor girls often became confused around expensive things. Elena heard every word. Nothing was found. An hour later, Mrs. Bell discovered the missing necklace beneath a scarf in Alessia's dressing room. Alessia did not apologize in front of the guests. She only said, "It appears there was a misunderstanding." Luca returned that evening and learned what happened. He found Elena in the laundry room folding towels. "I am sorry," he said. Elena did not look up. "You did not search me." "It happened in my house." "Yes." Alessia should not have handled it that way. "You should tell her." "I did." Elena folded another towel. "The women who watched security search my clothes are gone now." Luca became quiet. "I cannot change what happened." "No. I can make sure it does not happen again." Elena looked at him. "Private apologies are easy after everyone important has gone home." Pain crossed his face. "You are right. She expected him to defend himself. He did not. That made it harder to stay angry." The engagement gala was 3 weeks away. The mansion became busier each day. Designers, florists, musicians, and security teams moved through the halls. Alessia controlled every detail. She also became more secretive. She received calls in the garden and stopped talking whenever Elena entered. A man named Dr. Matteo Vale began visiting. Alessia introduced him as an old family friend who was helping with Teresa's medication. Elena disliked the way he looked at Alessia when Luca was not watching. 2 days before the gala, Alessia ordered Elena to bring a silver dress from the fitting room. Elena carried it upstairs and heard voices from the dressing room. The door was not completely closed. Matteo was inside with Alessia. Elena stopped before entering. "The red tube is in the silver case," Matteo said. "Do not confuse it with the other one." Alessia's voice was low. "And the clear balm protects me?" "Yes. 1 kiss is enough?" "1 is enough." Elena's hand tightened around the dress. "How quickly?" Alessia asked. "His heart will stop within minutes. Everyone knows he has had problems before. They will believe it was natural." Elena's body became cold. Alessia laughed softly. And after the funeral? After the funeral, you will have everything his name gives you. Then we stop hiding. Elena placed the dress over a chair and reached for her phone. She opened the recording app. Her hands shook. The phone slipped against the fabric and hit the floor. The voices stopped. Elena picked it up quickly. The dressing room door opened. Alessia stood there. What are you doing? I brought your dress. Alessia looked at the phone in Elena's hand. Were you listening? No. Then why are you standing outside the door? I dropped my phone. Matteo appeared behind Alessia. His expression remained calm, but his eyes were alert. Alessia took the dress. Go downstairs. Elena obeyed. She checked the recording when she reached the service stairs. It had captured 6 seconds. She heard the sound of the phone falling, Alessia asking what Elena was doing, and nothing else. There was no proof. Elena spent the rest of the day trying to reach Luca. Security told her he was in a closed meeting. She waited outside his office for almost an hour, but Alessia found her there. Why are you waiting for my fiancé? I need to speak to him. About what? Something private. Alessia's eyes became cold. There is nothing private between you and Luca. This is important. Poor women always believe their problems become important when a wealthy man enters the room. It is not about me. Then tell me. Elena stared at her. Alessia smiled. That is what I thought. She ordered Elena back to the kitchen. Elena wrote a note that night. Do not let Alessia kiss you at the gala. Your life may depend on it. She folded it and placed it beneath the door of Luca's office. The next morning, the note was gone. Luca said nothing. Elena did not know whether he had seen it. The day of the engagement gala arrived. Elena had barely slept. She watched Alessia all morning. The silver lipstick case remained inside her handbag. Elena tried to speak to Teresa, but Alessia stayed near them. She tried to call Luca's private number from the kitchen phone. A security officer answered and said Luca was unavailable. By evening, the mansion was filled with guests. The ballroom glowed beneath crystal. Lights. Powerful men, wealthy families, politicians, and people Elena recognized from television stood beneath the same roof. Elena wore her gray uniform and carried trays through the crowd. Luca stood near the front of the ballroom in a black suit. Alessia wore silver. She looked beautiful and completely calm. Elena watched her open her handbag. She removed a clear balm and applied it to her lips. Then she opened the silver case. The red lipstick appeared. Elena's heart pounded. She placed her tray on a table and moved toward Luca. A guard stopped her. Staff remained behind the marked area. I need to speak to Mr. Moretti. Not now. It is urgent. Return to your station. Elena looked toward Luca. Alessia had not applied the red lipstick yet. She stepped back, waited until the guard turned, and moved around the other side of the room. Luca saw her approaching. Elena, I need you to listen to me. This is not the time. Do not let Alessia kiss you tonight. Luca's face changed. What? Please. I cannot explain everything here, but you have to believe me. Alessia appeared beside him. There you are. She looked at Elena. Why are you speaking to my fiancé? Elena looked at Luca. Ask her about Matteo. Alessia's smile disappeared. Luca's eyes narrowed. What is this? She has become confused about her place again, Alessia said. Elena stepped closer. Luca, I heard them. She plans to use the red lipstick. Enough, Alessia said. You are embarrassing yourself. Luca looked from one woman to the other. Elena expected him to ask questions. Instead, he looked toward the guests watching them. Return to the kitchen, Elena. Her chest tightened. You do not understand. Not now. There may not be a later. Alessia called security. Remove her from the ballroom. Luca raised a hand. That is not necessary. Then he looked at Elena. Go. She had no choice. Elena returned to the service area, but she did not stay there. She watched through the open doors as Luca raised a glass and thanked the guests for attending. He spoke about family, loyalty, and the future. Alessia stood beside him with the silver case hidden in her hand. When the applause began, she opened it and applied the red lipstick. Elena pushed past the kitchen doors. Luca turned toward Alessia. She placed one hand against his chest and leaned toward him. Elena dropped the tray. Glasses shattered across the floor. Every head turned. She ran through the ballroom. 2 guards moved toward her, but she reached Luca first. She caught his face between both hands and kissed him. The kiss lasted only a few seconds. Luca froze. Elena's lips were clean. His hands remained at his sides. She pulled back before the guards caught her arms. The ballroom was silent. Alessia screamed, "You filthy little maid!" She crossed the room and struck Elena across the face. The slap turned Elena's head. Alessia caught her chin and forced her to look up. "I gave you work in this house and you put your mouth on my fiancé?" Her thumb dragged across Elena's lower lip. Something warm and waxy smeared over Elena's skin. The guards held her in place. Alessia leaned close. "Did you think one desperate kiss would make you my equal?" Her other hand moved near Elena's apron. Elena felt a small weight drop into the pocket. "Search her," Alessia ordered. "Now." One guard reached into Elena's apron and removed a silver lipstick tube. Elena's blood turned cold. "That is not mine." Alessia looked at the tube, then at the red stain on Elena's mouth. Her anger changed into horror. "Do not touch her lips." She turned toward Luca. "She tried to poison you." Shock moved through the room. Guests raised phones. Someone called the police. Luca stared at the lipstick in the guard's hand. Then he looked at Elena. "Is that true?" "No. It was in your pocket. She put it there." Alessia gave a broken laugh. "You expect him to believe a maid over the woman wearing his ring?" Elena looked at Luca. "Do not let her kiss you." His eyes narrowed. "Why?" "Because her kiss was supposed to kill you." Alessia stepped back as if Elena had struck her. "She is insane." "Ask her about Matteo," Elena said. "Ask her why she used the clear bomb first." Luca looked at Alessia's mouth. The guards tightened their grip on Elena. Police arrived within minutes. Elena was taken through the front doors in handcuffs while the guests watched. Alessia stood beside Luca, crying into a handkerchief. Elena looked back once. Luca did not stop the police. At the station, Elena repeated the same story 3 times. She told the officers about the dressing room conversation, the silver case, the clear bomb, and Matteo. They asked for the recording. She played the 6 useless seconds from her phone. They asked why the poisoned lipstick had been found in her pocket. She had no answer they believed. The video of Elena kissing Luca spread online before midnight. Headlines called her an obsessed maid, a gold digger, and a suspected killer. Daniel came to the station the next morning. He sat across from her behind a glass partition. He looked as if he had not slept. "Tell me you did not do this," he said. "I did not." "They found poison on you." "Alessia put it in my pocket." "Why would Luca Moretti's fiancé frame you?" "Because she planned to kill him." Daniel stared at her. "Do you hear how that sounds?" Elena's eyes filled. "You came here to ask whether I am guilty." "I came because reporters are outside our building. Papa saw the video. Mama is crying. I saved his life." Daniel looked down. "You promised you would bring work home." "I did. Now police are asking whether our family knew you were planning murder." "I did not plan anything." "Then why did you kiss him?" "Because she was about to." Daniel looked at her again. Elena saw doubt in his face. It hurt more than the handcuffs. "I need you to believe me," she said. "I want to." "That is not the same thing." Daniel closed his eyes. "I am scared, Elena. So am I." He placed one hand against the glass. "I am sorry." Elena did not lift hers. Luca came to the station that afternoon. He entered the interview room alone and sat across from Elena. He looked calm, but his eyes were cold. "Tell me everything again," he said. Elena did. She did not leave out the note, the failed warning, or the moment he ordered her back to the kitchen. Luca's jaw tightened when she mentioned it. "Why did you kiss me?" he asked. "To stop her from doing it." "You could have knocked the lipstick from her hand." "You were already turning toward her." "You could have shouted." "I had been warning people all day. No one listened." Luca looked at the red mark still visible on her lower lip. "The poison was found in your apron. After Alessia touched me." "You have no proof." "No. Then why should I believe you?" Elena looked directly at him. You do not have to believe me. You only have to stay alive long enough to check. He studied her. Why would you risk your job and your freedom for me? Because you were going to die. You barely know me. I know you did not deserve to be murdered by someone you trusted. Luca leaned back. You are asking me to believe that my fiancé planned to kill me during our engagement celebration. Yes. And that she framed you in a room filled with cameras. Yes. That would be a reckless plan. She did not expect the cameras to be watching her. Everyone was watching the maid who kissed the Mafia boss. Luca became silent. Elena continued. Check the photographs. My lips were clean when I kissed you. His eyes moved to her mouth. How do you know? Because I had not touched the lipstick. Luca stood. I will check. And if I'm right? He paused at the door. Then I will return. At the mansion, Alessia waited for him in the sitting room. She rushed forward and placed her arms around him. Luca did not return the embrace. Did the police arrest her? Alessia asked. They are holding her. Good. The laboratory is testing the lipstick. Alessia's fingers tightened against his jacket. How long will that take? Why? Because she tried to kill you. Luca stepped back. Did you know the case was silver? Alessia hesitated. I saw it when security removed it from her pocket. I did not mention the case. Everyone saw it. Luca watched her face. Alessia forced a weak smile. You cannot seriously believe her. I believe evidence. Then the evidence is in police custody. Luca left her and went to his office. He ordered his security chief to collect every official photograph and recording from the gala. 2 hours later, the photographer arrived with hundreds of images. Luca viewed them one by one. In the first photograph, Elena was running toward him. Her lips were bare. In the second, she was kissing him. There was no red color on her mouth. In the third, the guards were pulling her away while Alessia approached. In the fourth, Alessia's hand was gripping Elena's chin. In the fifth, a red stain had appeared on Elena's lower lip. Luca stared at the screen for a long time. Bring Alessia to me, he told his security chief. Alessia entered 10 minutes later. Luca kept the photographs hidden. The laboratory found no poison in the lipstick, he said. Alessia's face changed before she could control it. That is impossible. Luca remained still. Why? I mean, if Elena planned to kill you, there should be poison. Perhaps she did not plan it. Then why did she have the tube? That is what I intend to discover. Alessia looked toward the desk. Did the photographer capture the kiss? Yes. Did he capture what happened after? Luca's eyes hardened. Why does that matter? Because she may have tried to hide the lipstick. I did not say anyone hid it. Alessia forced a laugh. I am tired. You are frightening me with questions when I nearly lost you. She stepped closer. Luca moved away. Go rest. That night, Alessia left the mansion through the garden. Luca's security followed her. She entered a private parking garage and met Matteo beside a black sedan. A microphone hidden near the vehicle recorded everything. The photographer caught me touching her after the kiss, Alessia said. Her mouth was clean when she kissed him. Matteo swore. You said no one saw you plant the tube. Everyone was shouting. I had to do something. Where is the second tube? With you. Then leave it there. Luca told me the police found no poison. He is testing you. Alessia looked around nervously. The maid ruined everything. I want her to stay in prison, and I want Luca dead before he learns the truth. Then we wait. No, we do it again. No kiss this time. Put it in his medicine. Security officers stepped from the shadows. Matteo reached toward his coat, but 4 guns were already aimed at him. Alessia turned and saw Luca standing behind them. Her face went white. Luca. He looked at her without emotion. You were right about one thing. Please, let me explain. The maid ruined your plan. Matteo was taken into custody. Alessia began crying. He forced me. Luca's voice remained calm. You asked him to poison my medicine. I was scared. You were scared of losing what you planned to inherit. She reached for him. I love you. Luca stepped away. You did not love me enough to let me survive our engagement. Alessia was arrested before sunrise. Elena was released later that morning. When she stepped out of the station, Luca was waiting beside a black car. Elena stopped. You checked. Yes. And? You were telling the truth. Her shoulders lowered, but relief did not come. My family? They know you are being released. Did you tell them why? Not yet. Why not? Because what happened to you was public. The correction will be public too. Elena's expression hardened. I do not want another show. Neither do I. Then take me home. Luca opened the car door. Elena looked at him. I can open it myself. He moved his hand away. I know. That evening, the Moretti ballroom filled again. The same family members, staff, guests, and reporters who had watched Elena leave in handcuffs were asked to return. Many believed Luca would announce the end of the engagement. No one expected Elena to enter through the front doors wearing simple black clothes. Her mother walked beside her. Daniel and her father followed. Teresa crossed the room and embraced Elena before anyone else could speak. Luca stood at the front of the ballroom. Alessia was brought in under police guard. Her hands were cuffed. The guests became silent. Luca looked at Elena. 2 nights ago, everyone in this room watched Elena Rivera leave my home as a suspected murderer. He turned toward the screen behind him. You believed her because the poison was found in her pocket and the color was on her lips. The first photograph appeared. It showed Elena running toward Luca. These were her lips before the kiss, Luca said. The second photograph showed Elena kissing him. These were her lips while she was saving my life. The third photograph showed Alessia gripping Elena's chin. The fourth showed the red stain. And this is the moment the evidence appeared. A recording began to play. Alessia's voice filled the room. Her words about planting the tube, wanting Elena to remain in prison, and planning a second murder attempt were clear. Alessia struggled against the officer holding her arm. She still kissed another woman's fiancé, she shouted. Luca looked at her. Yes, with clean lips. Because she knew yours were meant to kill me. Alessia looked toward the wealthy relatives who once supported her. No one moved to help. Teresa stepped forward. You believed Elena was too poor to be trusted and too powerless to fight back, she said. Her poverty was never her shame. What you were willing to do for wealth is yours. Alessia was taken away through the same doors Elena had been dragged through 2 nights earlier. Luca faced the room again. Elena warned me. I did not listen. She risked her name, her freedom, and the only job supporting her family to keep me alive. He looked toward Elena. I was wrong. No one in the room had ever heard Luca Moretti admit that before. I allowed evidence planted by a woman I trusted to become more important than the actions of a woman who had already sacrificed everything. Elena stepped forward. Do not turn me into a hero because you are ashamed. Luca held her gaze. What should I call you? Elena. Then Elena saved my life and I failed her. He turned toward the staff. She entered this house as an employee. She leaves it today with my respect and my debt. Elena's face tightened. I do not want your debt. That is your decision. Luca offered her the maid's job back. Elena refused. He offered money. She refused that too. When he offered to pay her father's medical bills, she said she would accept only as a loan with written terms. Luca agreed. Elena returned home with her family. Daniel apologized before they reached the apartment. I should have believed you. Elena kept walking. Yes, I was afraid. So was I. That is not an excuse. No. Daniel stopped in the hallway. What can I do? Elena looked at him. Believe me before strangers do next time. He nodded. I will. Her father hugged her carefully. Her mother held Elena's face between both hands. You gave up your name to save a man who had barely given you kindness. Elena shook her head. He gave me respect when I needed it. That is not the same as love. I know. Elena found work at a neighborhood medical clinic 3 weeks later. The salary was small, but the position used her degree. She prepared accounts, checked bills, and handled payments for patients who needed time. No one knew Luca had asked the clinic director to interview her because he never did. Elena had applied herself. She earned the job herself. Luca stayed away for the first month. He sent no flowers and no gifts. He did not appear at her office or stand outside her apartment. Teresa called Elena regularly and invited her for tea, but Elena refused the first 3 invitations. On the 4th, Teresa said, "I am asking because I miss you, not because my son does." Elena went. Luca was not there. She spent 2 hours with Teresa and Mrs. Bell. Before she left, Luca entered the kitchen. He stopped when he saw her. "I did not know you were coming. Your mother promised you would not be here." Teresa lifted her tea. "I said I had not invited him." Luca looked at Elena. "May I speak to you outside?" She followed him into the garden. "How is your father?" he asked. "Better." "The loan documents arrived?" "Yes." "Are the terms acceptable?" "The interest is too low." "I am not running a bank." "Then stop trying to disguise gifts as agreements." Luca almost smiled. "I will have them changed." Elena crossed her arms. "Was that all?" "No." He took a breath. "I would like to have dinner with you." "Why?" "Because I want to know you outside my house. You owe me your life." "No. That makes every kindness from you suspicious." "I know. You may believe gratitude is love. I do not. How can you be sure?" Luca looked at her for a long moment. "I cannot prove it in one conversation." "Then do not ask me to trust it in one." "I am asking for dinner." Elena shook her head. "Not yet." Luca accepted the answer. He did not argue. Over the next 2 months, he visited Teresa when Elena was there, but never arranged it himself. He spoke to Elena without trying to impress her. He asked about her work, her family, and the degree everyone had once treated as a failed investment. He listened when she complained about difficult patients. He remembered her father's appointment dates. He never paid another bill without asking. One Sunday, Teresa invited Luca to Elena's family dinner. The apartment was crowded. Daniel gave Luca the weakest folding chair. Luca sat on it without complaint. Elena's father asked whether Mafia bosses always wore expensive suits to eat rice and beans. Luca said he had been warned not to arrive armed with dessert. Elena laughed before she could stop herself. Daniel watched Luca carefully all evening. When Luca offered to help clear the table, Daniel handed him a stack of plates. "You break one, you replace the whole set." Luca looked at the mismatched plates. "That may be difficult." "Then be careful." Elena saw Luca smile. It was the first time she imagined him inside an ordinary life rather than a guarded mansion. That frightened her. She agreed to dinner 2 weeks later. Luca took her to a small Italian restaurant where no one used his name. He arrived without guards inside the dining room. Elena noticed 2 men waiting across the street, but she did not mention them. "This is not a date," she said. "Then why did you change your earrings twice?" Elena stared at him. "Your mother told you. She notices everything. This is one dinner. I understand. And if it goes badly?" "You leave. No argument. I have learned that forcing a woman to remain in a room does not improve her opinion of me." The dinner did not go badly. Luca spoke about losing his father young and inheriting responsibilities he did not want. Elena told him how ashamed she felt each time she wore the maid's uniform, then how ashamed she felt for being ashamed of honest work. Luca did not tell her she was wrong to feel it. He said, "Your mother worked so you would have choices. Poverty took those choices from you for a while. That is different from believing the work was beneath you." Elena looked at him. That was almost wise. "I practiced." They began seeing each other slowly. Luca visited her apartment. Elena returned to Teresa's kitchen. They walked through quiet neighborhoods where his name mattered less. He learned not to send a car unless she asked. She learned that he became silent when afraid, not only when angry. There were mistakes. Once, Luca sent guards after Elena when she arrived home late from work. She refused to speak to him for 3 days. When he apologized, he did not say he had done it for her safety. He said he had let fear make the decision again. Elena accepted the apology, but not the guards. 4 months after the gala, Teresa held a charity dinner at a Manhattan hotel. Elena attended in a simple blue dress she had bought herself. Luca spent part of the evening speaking with Isabella Romano, a wealthy widow whose family still had business ties to his. Isabella was beautiful, graceful and completely comfortable beside him. Elena watched them from across the ballroom. She hated the jealousy that rose inside her. Luca had never promised her anything. They had shared dinners, long conversations, and one kiss on her cheek. Nothing more. Alessia's aunt approached Elena near the bar. "You clean up well," the woman said. Elena recognized her from the engagement gala. "Thank you." The woman looked toward Luca and Isabella. "They look suitable together." Elena said nothing. Women like Isabella understand his world. "I am sure she does." "One desperate kiss made you famous, Elena. Do not confuse a man's gratitude with love." The words found the fear Elena had been trying to ignore. "I do not." "Good. Saving his life earned you a public apology. It did not earn you his name." Elena walked away before the woman saw her eyes fill. She entered the restroom and locked herself inside a stall. She hated that she was crying. She had survived police questions, public humiliation, and her family's doubt. One rich woman's sentence should not have been able to break her, but it had repeated the question Elena asked herself every time Luca looked at her with warmth. Did he want Elena? Or did he want to repay the woman who saved him? Luca found her in the hallway outside the restroom. "What happened?" "Nothing." "Your eyes are red." "Then you already know it was not nothing. Who spoke to you?" Elena looked toward the ballroom. Isabella was still waiting near Luca's table. "Go back to your guest." "Elena, you look more comfortable beside women who belong in your world." Luca's expression changed. "Is that what you believe?" "I believe the room understands something I keep pretending not to see." "What?" "That you can respect me, visit my family, and feel grateful without wanting me beside you when people like that are watching." "Who said this to you?" "Do not fix the speaker. Answer the question." Luca stepped closer. "I came here looking for you. After she had finished humiliating me." "Who?" Elena shook her head. "I do not need comfort after everyone has finished laughing." She walked away. Luca returned to the ballroom alone. He found Alessia's aunt speaking beside the stage. He took the microphone from the charity host. The room quieted. Elena stopped near the exit when she heard his voice. "Before the evening continues, I need to correct something." Luca looked toward Alessia's aunt. "A guest in this room has suggested that Elena Rivera should remember the difference between gratitude and belonging." The woman's face changed. "Luca, it was a private conversation. You chose a public room." He looked around the ballroom. "Elena entered my home through the servant's door because her family needed money. She left through the front because her courage gave this family no other choice." No one moved. "She was poor when she saved my life. You were wealthy when you mocked her. Only one of those facts reveals character." Alessia's aunt looked away. Luca continued. "No one in this room will use Elena's former uniform as permission to speak beneath her. Anyone who disagrees may leave." He placed the microphone down and walked toward Elena. She waited near the doors. "You were late," she said. "I know. One public defense does not erase every private doubt. I know that too. Stop agreeing with me. Then tell me what you want." Elena looked at him. "I want to know whether you see me, or only the woman who saved your life." Luca did not answer quickly. "I hated the night you saved me," he said. "It was the night I failed to believe you." "That does not answer me. I love the woman who refuses soup until my mother pretends she is lonely. The woman who sends money home and eats bread for dinner. The woman who reorganized my library because she could not stand seeing books treated as decoration. The woman who becomes angry when afraid and proud when hurt. The woman who made me sit on a folding chair while her brother watched me carry plates." Elena's eyes filled. Luca continued. "You saved my life once. I fell in love with the woman I kept meeting afterward. You never said anything. You told me not to make decisions for you. That did not mean you had to become silent." "I am still learning." Elena looked toward the ballroom. "And Isabella?" "Asked whether I wanted to invest in a hotel." "That is all?" "She also said you were beautiful." Elena closed her eyes. "I was unfair. You were jealous. That is not better. It is more useful." She laughed despite herself. Luca lifted one hand but waited. Elena placed her hand in his. He leaned closer. May I kiss you? You are asking after I kissed you without permission. The first situation involved murder. Fair point. May I? Elena looked at the man she had once kissed in panic. This time there was no poison, no audience demanding an answer, and no guard reaching for her. Yes, Luca kissed her slowly. The kiss was gentle at first, then warmer when Elena moved closer. He did not hold her as if she owed him anything. He waited for her to choose every step. When they pulled apart, the ballroom remained behind them, but Elena no longer felt hidden from it. Their relationship continued without a sudden proposal or a move into the mansion. Elena kept her apartment and her job. She paid part of her father's medical loan every month. Luca complained about the interest, until Elena reminded him he had agreed. Daniel returned to evening classes for his electrician certification. Elena's mother reduced her cleaning hours. Her father grew stronger. Teresa visited the Rivera apartment often and complained that Daniel's folding chairs were designed by enemies. Luca learned to ask before solving problems. Elena learned that accepting help did not always mean surrendering dignity. 1 year after the engagement gala, Teresa held her birthday celebration in the Moretti ballroom. The same room had once watched Elena leave in handcuffs. This time she entered beside her family. No one asked why she belonged there. Luca stood near the front with a glass in his hand. He raised it to thank the guests. Elena looked at the place where Alessia had once applied the red lipstick. Then she crossed the room. Luca lowered the glass as Elena stopped in front of him. Is something wrong? He asked. Elena placed both hands against his face and kissed him. The room became quiet. This kiss lasted longer than the first. No guard touched her. No woman slapped her. No one searched her apron because she was not wearing one. When Elena pulled back, Luca looked at her with a smile. Am I in danger? Yes. From what? A woman who finally believes you love her. Luca placed the glass on a table. Then he lowered himself to one knee. Elena covered her mouth. The ballroom filled with shocked voices. Teresa smiled from the front row. Daniel whispered something that made their mother hit his arm. Luca opened a ring box. The first time you kissed me, you saved the life I had, he said. During the year after, you showed me the life I wanted. Elena's eyes filled. That sounds rehearsed. I practiced in the car. Continue. Elena Rivera, will you marry me? She looked at her father standing without an oxygen machine, her mother crying beside him, Daniel wearing the electrician badge he had finally earned, and Teresa holding both hands against her heart. Then Elena looked at Luca. I am keeping my job. Yes. My family remains part of our life. They already control my Sundays. And when you are afraid? I tell you before I send guards. Elena held out her hand. Then yes. Luca placed the ring on her finger and stood. May I kiss my fiancé? Elena pulled him closer. You may. The first time Elena Rivera kissed Luca Moretti, she lost her job, her freedom, and almost her family's trust to keep him alive. This time no one called her a maid. No one dragged her away. And the man she had once saved waited for her to choose him back.